And welcome back. Joining us now is Dr. Paul Baumgardner, political science professor at Augustana College. Professor, you've been providing us with a lot of insight over the night. Let's talk about this win by former President Donald Trump. Reflect on it a little bit, because he was projected to win, but was this a better night than he could have even expected?
I think this is exactly what he wanted, right? So there are questions about how recent polling would translate because of the terrible weather over recent days. And he did exactly what his team wanted him to do, right? He secured a victory, and it was a commanding victory. Right now, around 30% over a distant second-place finisher. As we've talked about throughout the night, this is historic in the size of its victory margin. If you look even at a very successful presidential campaign back in the year 2000, George W. Bush wins by 10%, and people thought this was a landslide. Well, here we are now in 2024, and we have a Republican candidate that's clearing more than 50% support in the state and wins by about 30%. This was a smackdown of sorts. This is exactly what his candidacy kind of wants to build off as they move forward to the next few states.
And the breaking news for the night, Vivek Ramaswamy pulling out of the race. Yep. What do you see happening next, and who does it benefit?
Once again, the big winner tonight is Donald Trump. Of the candidates who are not named Donald Trump, one of the most charitable towards the former president has been Mr. Ramaswamy. If you were to kind of track his messaging and his positions over the past few months, the way that he has approached and discussed former President Trump, it's largely been sympathetic. I think that if Donald Trump was looking for someone that could offer him some additional support, it would probably be Mr. Ramaswamy. So I would guess that many of the supporters who did back Mr. Ramaswamy tonight would probably move over to Mr. Trump's camp.
All right, at this point, given Trump's victory, how does Nikki Haley, how does Ron DeSantis stay in this race? What do they need to do, and do they have the means to do it?
Yeah, so oftentimes when political scientists are looking at the impact of the Iowa caucuses, we recognize that it's not like Iowa sends a lot of delegates to the Republican National Convention. This year, they'll send 40 delegates of more than 2,400, right? So it's not just the number of delegates being sent to the convention. You're also looking for things like media coverage after the Iowa caucuses, fundraising after the caucuses, securing new endorsements, maybe some of your competitors dropping out. On those standards, it's been a very good night for Mr. Trump. And also on those standards, it has not been a great night for, say, Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley was hoping that a second place finish here would then allow her to maybe grow some momentum before the New Hampshire primaries. That's not what happened tonight. Similarly, Ron DeSantis dedicated so many of his resources to the state of Iowa, hoping over the past few months that by knocking on thousands of doors, he'd be able to potentially get first place or at least a close second place. We don't see that tonight. We see a distant second place finish. So the kinds of momentum that oftentimes we study after Iowa caucuses, I don't see them going to Haley or DeSantis. Once again, I see former President Trump capitalizing on a very good performance tonight in Iowa.
Professor, we appreciate your insight tonight. When we come back, James has your accurate forecast.